As I am developing Sierra Chart studies, custom studies, mostly for myself, I was using a simple bash script to automate the compilation process, and specifically because I run everything under Linux. But recently I decided to modernize everything and actually unify the whole process, because I was using also a couple of extra scripts to help me out with some additional features that I needed. So I decided to write this tool again in Rust in an efficient way in order to automate the compilation, log management, deployment and live reloading lifecycle, primarily for Linux and for myself. But because also I showed it to a friend of mine, he asked me if this can work on Windows as well, because he's using Windows. I looked it over and it was actually super simple to create a binary. So I release binaries for both Linux and Windows at this point. Outside of having the required MinGW compiler installed, there are no other dependencies actually that you need, and the binary runs entirely out of the box. I have made it available on my self-hosted Git. You can find the links in the description. It's under a MIT license, so feel free to use it, change it, do whatever you like with it. So I'm gonna go on and demonstrate the installation, configuration and the simple features that this tool has on both Windows and Linux. You can use the chapters on these videos to navigate to whatever section you like. So let's start. Okay, so first let me explain a little bit the problems that I had on a standard Sierra Chart installation. You have the build custom studies DLL, this window here. If you want to compile a study, you have to come here, find the file, then you can either run a remote build that runs into Sierra Chart servers, or you can build with Visual C++. Both requires a lot of clicking. Obviously, I use multiple installations. So if I want to update a study, then I have to do it like 3 or 4 times, which makes no sense. So in order to do that, we have to automate everything outside the platform. I have created this simple flowchart to demonstrate what exactly this tool is doing and what is the process. The same process also the bash script that I had follows. But this tool is more robust and everything is done natively. So the developers save their study in the editor, triggers the build, with the flag specifies if it's a debug build or a release. Depending on the selection, there are different compile flags enforced. Specifically for the release, I am using the ones that Sierra Chart officially recommends. Phase 2, we sent a release DLL command via the UDP interface. The tool waits for the load to be lifted from the DLL, goes to phase number 3, then replaces the DLL, and also send another command, allow load DLL, via the UDP interface, that now we ask Sierra Chart to load again this specific DLL into the charts. Any new functionality now is going to be live, no need to restart or do anything else. Regarding the configuration file, I use TOML file format. I have an example configuration here. You can actually define profiles to be used. So a bracket starts with profiles dot, and then the name of the profile here is dev real, the parameter, then sc_dir. This is where you define the location of the Sierra Chart installation for this profile. UDP_port. This is also defined inside Sierra Chart, and CXX_flags. This is the compiler flags that you can pass. You can customize this. If you omit completely this parameter, the default ones are going to be used. The tool checks the current working directory first to find the config file. If not, it will check the standard operating system locations. I will put them on the screen right now. I am on a Windows 10 virtual machine. We are going to install the tool from binary, so we head to the repo, and then under releases you can find the latest stable release, and we download the SCBuild Windows zip. I'm going to extract into a directory that I have created. And the next thing that we need is to have the MinGW compiler installed. There are several ways that you can do it. I am using Scoop. This is a Windows package manager. Very simple to install. I have it installed already, so I will just execute Scoop install MinGW. This is going to install everything that is needed and update also the path to include the executables. Okay, package is installed successfully, so if I type G++, the executable is run. Here we have also the scbuild.dll.exe. We need to create a configuration file. Back here, just copy the contents. As I have only one installation here under this virtual machine, we only need one profile. I do not need any extra compiler flags. UDP port is this one, and I need also to update sc_dir Sierra chart. So let's test with a simple study. I have Sierra chart open the message log and the editor. We will go to global settings, then Sierra chart server settings. We are going to make sure that the UDP port is the same that we also have inside the configuration file under the profile, which it is. And compile. We see some messages here. The study is compiled. Of course, this is the first time that we are going to add it to this chart. This is the one. And we can see this text here. This is a test study. And let's add some extra text. Save and run the compilation again. So we see again the messages about unloading and reloading, and of course now the text is updated, so there it is. Under Linux things are of course much more simple. You can come and download from the releases a binary. This is built with musl libc, so it's gonna work anywhere. There are no dependencies. The only thing again is MinGW compiler. If you are on an Arch based distribution with Pacman, you will find actually all the packages that you need and install them very simple. You will need just to place the binary under your path, the configuration file again, either under your current working directory or under your home directory config scbuild.dll and scbuild.toml. You will see I have two profiles defined, one the dev, the other is the real. Two different UDP ports, of course, the standard flags and the paths under my crossover wine bottles. If you want to build from source, pretty much straightforward. You just git clone the repo. You will need to have Rust and Cargo installed. Then it's just a matter of running make install. This is going to copy the binary under your user directory. Also copy the default configuration file. Then you just run scbuild.dll. So let's compile a simple study here as well. Okay, let's load the study. This is a test study. This just prints some text and the price. Let's change the text. And let's run the build again. It's unloaded and loaded again, and our changes are already applied. Now regarding the parameters, you can specify the profile. You can run with debug, with verbose, no color for terminals like the Windows terminal that does not support fancy icons and colors. What you can also do is that you can pass also extra arguments for the compiler by adding them after a double dash at the end. So this comes handy if situations that you want to include full header files or something that they are not standard, you do not want to place them into the configuration file. For example, I have this simple indicator that I have also included header file here. This header file is actually under test include. So if I just go and try and run ACBuild DLL, dev print trend text price, it's going to give me an error. So what I will do, double dash here and -I test include, and now it will compile. Okay, we can also add the verbose flag. So you will see here the complete command that we run. It passes the extra parameter inside the compile command. Automating your development is a huge deal, especially when you're starting out with Sierra Chart, building custom studies, learning to trade, and especially when you're running everything under Linux, fighting with the wine paths, what works, what does not. I hope this tool will help you a little bit, same as it's helping me. The links, as always, are in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.